Hey everybody, how are you doing tonight? My name's Kristen Harris. I am the owner and sole creator and designer and worker at an Etsy store called Smitten by Kristen, and I sell hand stamped jewelry, mainly bracelets. And I'm here today to follow up actually on a PDF file that I sent you guys a couple of days ago or yesterday. And it was a PDF file of how to search for what we call the perfect tags. You might be wondering, what are tags? Or maybe you've heard of tags and it's still kind of a mystery for you. So what I wanted to do today is give you, because personally, I learn best by hearing somebody explain to me how to do something and seeing them, having them show me how to do something rather than just picking up a book or reading a PDF file. So if you want right now, it might be helpful to pull up that PDF file. What I'm going to do is, first of all, who might you be? You might be watching this video because you're at the very, very beginning stages of your Etsy store. At this point, you maybe haven't gotten your store set up yet. Still, this is important information, but I'm not telling you at this point how to literally set up your shop. But I am telling you one of the most important parts of setting up your individual listings. You might have already set up a shop and you're sort of not getting a lot of views or a lot of buys and you're wondering why that's not happening, and tags can play a large role in it. Maybe you've had an Etsy shop for a while but right now you're ready to take it to the next level. And in order to do that, you have to have good tags. Now, when I first started out on Etsy, I actually started on Etsy because I'd just gone through a breakup and I was looking to essentially fill my time and stay busy. And the best way I knew how to do that was to channel my creativity, channel my heartache into creativity. And when I first started out, I started making these little resin pendant necklaces. And I'll show you on the screen what they looked like. They were a little bit challenging to make, but admittedly didn't take a lot of skill. But I laugh because when I see my first listings, my tags were really bad. You had to be very specific and know exactly what you're looking for to find my items. Otherwise, I doubt many people were pulling them up. I transformed and I worked on my craft and explored different interests, and now what I do is hand-stamped bracelets for the most part. Although I do some other things, but mainly I do hand-stamped bracelets, and I do pretty well on a part-time basis. So I do work full-time. So Etsy is a part-time business for me. I do hope to go full-time maybe later this summer. So you might be wondering, all right, that's about me. Let's get to the meat of this little talk we're having. And the meat is tags. What are tags? When you pull up the add a new listing feature, so you're adding a new listing on Etsy and you scroll down, and I'm going to show you on a computer screen what that looks like. Scroll down. You have 13 opportunities to input tags. And tags are words or short phrases limited to 20 characters each. So it can be more than one word, but it's got to be under 20 characters or less. And these are your chances of being found in someone's Etsy search. So if I'm searching for beaded red bracelet and your tag is beaded red bracelet, I don't know if that's under 20 characters, your item's probably gonna pop up for me in the search results. Does that make sense? So let's say that my item is a mega sequined rhinestone Elvis vintage jumpsuit, and I'm searching for a vintage Elvis jumpsuit on Etsy because, don't we all? I do that all the time. And my tag is vintage Elvis jumpsuit. I have that tag associated with that particular item. More likely than not, I'm going to pop up in that person's search results on the first couple of pages. Probably the first page, because I can't imagine there's a lot of people that are selling vintage Elvis jumpsuits. There's a lot of Elvis fans, though, and they'd probably buy them up very quickly. Anyways, think of showing up on somebody's search page as you've got various factors that influence whether or not you show up on somebody's search page, especially, the first one or two pages of a search result. And those factors, the two biggies are your tags and that cover photo, that first photo that you upload and choose as your initial photo, how you frame it in your little thumbnail, and to a lesser extent your title as well. So those are pretty much the three factors that will influence. So tags are super, super important. And if you think about showing up in someone's search results, it's kind of like you're in a room and a room full of, let's say you're doing speed dating with somebody and you have a very limited opportunity to make a good impression on somebody to get that first date. So it's kind of like, when you show up in somebody's search results, you have a very limited, and buyers have a very limited attention span. You have a very limited time span, limited amount of time, and a limited opportunity for somebody to say, oh, I really want to click on your item. Just even click on your item, let alone press that purchase button, kind of like asking you out on that first date. So those are what tags are, and that's why tags are important. So I came up with this putting yourself in the buyer's shoes exercise. When I was talking with my friend Brandy, she owns the Etsy shop Knick Knack Paddywhack Designs, and I asked her, what's the number one question that you have that you want answered as an Etsyan? We'll call Etsy sellers Etsyans. That sounds good to me. And one of her top two questions was, what are tags? How do I do them? I'm horrible at tags. So I asked her, first of all, I asked her, can you put yourself in the buyer's shoes for me and tell me and answer some of these questions? And her immediate response was, people tell me to put myself in the buyer's shoes and I can't do it. So I led her through a series of questions, and that's how this PDF file came about. And we're going to go through this PDF file using one of Brandy's items, and it's beautiful. I'll pull it up on the screen right now. It's a state-to-state keychain or necklace. So it's a aluminum keychain in the shape of the United States of America. You can see there's a heart with a bunch of dots, very cute, connected to another heart across the country. And so I asked her, and let's go through this PDF file. First question, who is your buyer? What gender is your buyer likely to be? Now, I know from my experience, most of my buyers are female, and I'm going to guess that it's a high likelihood that the buyer of that item is going to be female as well. So I said, okay, let's say the buyer is female. All right, so your buyer's female. What's the age range of your buyer? And we said maybe 20s or 30s. What's the buyer's relationship status? Is the buyer married? Are they in a relationship? Are they single? Are they, could your buyer be any of the above? So let's say that the buyer is married. What kind of situation might they be in that would make them want to buy that necklace or that keychain? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe they're a military spouse and their husband or wife is deployed somewhere across the country and they can't be with them. Maybe they're in a relationship and it's a long distance relationship. So long distance comes up. So deployed, long distance. Maybe they're not in a romantic relationship, but what other relationships do people have? They've got mothers, they got fathers, they've got sisters, they've got brothers, they have best friends. See a lot of people buying stuff for their best friends and their sisters all the time on Etsy. So if they had those kind of relationships, what kind of important special occasions might be coming up in their lives that would prompt them to buy your keychain as a gift? Because a lot of people buy things as gifts. Maybe they just moved away for college. Maybe their sister just moved across the country. Maybe they are in a relationship and it's their anniversary that's coming up. Maybe it's Father's Day and they want to buy that for their dad, or it's Mother's Day and they want to buy that for their mom because they live in different parts of the country. They live in different states. So those are all things that came up for me, and we just wrote this down in a big old list. And then I had Brandy describe for me, in as many words possible, what is this item? What material is it made of? What does it look like? What's the color? How did you make it? Just what is this item? So we know that this is kind of a state to state, or a map of the United States. It's aluminum. It's a keychain. It's hand stamped. I can't think of other characteristics at the moment, but you get my point. So those are all added to our potential keywords. And now we've got like a gajillion keywords. We got way more than 13, way more than we need, but that's perfect. It's better to have more than you need than to be struggling, right? So what's the next thing I had her do? I had her pull up the Etsy page for me, and I had her take a couple of the search terms, okay? And I had her start typing in long distance, right? Because that's kind of the thing that popped out for me the most is long distance. So I had her type in long distance, and as she got to long distance, Etsy started to list potential search terms, popular search terms. So we've got long distance relationship, we got long distance boyfriend, we got long distance friendship. Whoa, I was on the right track. Long distance keychain, long distance love, long distance relationship keychain. So a lot of things pop up, and those are additional ideas. So, okay, we're writing all these down. Keychain, long distance love, long distance romance, long distance friendship. Okay. And then the next thing, so now our list gets even bigger. My bad. Okay. I didn't whittle it down for her at that point. Then I had her, I asked her, are there any of these terms that are written down that there are potential synonyms for? So for example, when I make my listings for my bracelets, people don't always call a bracelet a bracelet. They also call it a cuff or a bangle, and I'm sure there are some other words that aren't coming to mind. But it's a cuff, it's a bangle, it's a bracelet, right? So there might be synonyms that you're not thinking of. The next thing I had her do was pull up a similar item on Etsy. I had her pull up a very similar keychain. Then I had her scroll all the way down to the very bottom, where it gives you a list of sample search terms, search term suggestions. So now we have even more ideas. And so the challenge for her was, okay, what are maybe the 13 most popular search terms, again within 20 character limit to choose from. And so she I don't know which ones she ended up replacing, but she did end up with a much better list of search terms in the end. So that's how I go about coming up with search terms. It sounds like a really long process, but once you get the hang of it, and a lot of us sell items that are very similar, one of the things I don't want you to do is just copy and paste the same search terms for, all of your similar items. You want some variety in there, because what Etsy does is it's not going to show, let's say somebody's searching for romantic bracelet, and romantic bracelet is in like 5 of my keywords for 5 different items. It's not going to show all 5 items on somebody's search page. It's going to show like one of those items. So you want to make sure you have variety, right? So I'm going to issue a challenge to all of you guys. And here's your challenge. I want you to take 2 or 3 items. I want you to choose 2 or 3 items, and I want you to reboot them in terms of their tags. I want you to redo their tags. Okay, I want you to take 3 items where you're like, you know what, these tags are kind of crappy. They suck. I'm not getting a lot of views. Let me redo them following these guidelines that Kristen just listed. What I want you to do first, though, is pull up your stats page. Okay, pull pull up your stats page, and I want you to select past 7 days. Not the past week, but past 7 days. And I want you to write down for me 3 numbers. For those 3 items, I want you to write down for each one how many views they got over the last 7 days for those 3 individual items, or 2 individual items if that's all you're doing. And then I want you to apply this concept, change your tags up. I'm going to send you a couple more emails over the course of this week. And in about 2 weeks from the time that you redefine or revise your tags, I want you to pull up those stats again, pull them up for the past 7 days, and I want you to look again at how many views those 2 or 3 items got over the past 7 days. And I want you to let me know on Facebook. If you could give me a shout out. Did this work? Did this not work? This isn't a magic wand kind of thing, but this is super important. And I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I hope it's been helpful. If there's any other questions that you have, I would love to answer them. I expect more videos and more worksheets to come. I want to tackle issues like taking pictures, how to write your listings in general, give you some kind of pro tips and tricks. I just have a ton of ideas floating up here that I think you guys would really like. So thank you for your time and your attention tonight. I'm going to say peace out for the night. This is Kristen again from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Y'all